Welcome to the deep dive. Can you picture this? It's a seemingly ordinary Saturday afternoon, June 2018, up in northern Thailand. Kids are out playing football, just enjoying their day. But then a discovery outside Tham Luang Cave. It changes everything instantly. A cluster of abandoned bicycles, and that's the first signal that 12 young footballers and their coach have vanished. What started as, well, local news very quickly exploded. It became this global humanitarian crisis that just captivated the entire world. Our mission today on this deep dive is to unpack how a situation that seemed, frankly, utterly hopeless. 13 lives trapped deep inside a flooded, really complex cave. How did that transform into this astonishing symbol of human unity and, really, against all odds, an incredible success story? We're going to explore why those involved, the people right there on the ground, came to call it Mission Possible.
And it truly was a mission against, well, seemingly impossible odds. The success of the Tham Luang operation, it wasn't just some isolated miracle. It was a remarkable convergence of really crucial factors. We'll be looking at the sheer perseverance of the trap team themselves, the incredibly adaptable leadership that emerged, the unprecedented global cooperation that followed, and maybe most critically, that audacious, high-stakes medical strategy that was chosen when, well, literally every other option had vanished.
Okay, so let's start right at the beginning then. Who were the Wild Boars team and what led them into this terrifying situation?
Right, the wild boars. There were 12 boys aged between 11 and 16, and their 25-year-old assistant coach, Coach Eck, just a local youth football team. And their love for the game, well, it led them to what seemed like a pretty innocent adventure after practice, exploring Tham Luang Cave. But that adventure turned disastrous when a sudden, really fierce monsoon just rapidly flooded the cave, sealed off their exit. Authorities were actually notified around 10 p.m. that evening when the kids didn't come home.
And their primary adversary. It was the cave itself, Tham Luang. This wasn't just any cave, was it?
Yeah.
How did his unique characteristics, fundamentally dictate the whole rescue strategy?
That's a really great point. Tham Luang is colossal. We're talking a 10-kilometer-long limestone system. It's the fourth longest in Thailand, and it's often likened to a labyrinth, which is pretty accurate. What's crucial to understand is how the cave's dangers dictated everything. First, you've got this complex karst topography. That means soluble rock forming these intricate underground networks. So unpredictable passages, sinkholes, huge chambers. Getting through wasn't just walking. It meant climbing, crawling, and a lot of diving.
Right?
Second, the monsoon's fury. Just relentless rising floodwaters. And they weren't just deep. They were fast-flowing, murky, creating dangerous currents. Plus, the continuous rain hampered any search for other ways in, like shafts from above.
Okay.
Third, as the cave sealed up, oxygen levels inside started to plummet. That became a critical, life-threatening factor later on. And finally, just the sheer physical obstacles. Narrow, winding bottlenecks, sudden drops or climbs. Rescuers couldn't even wear standard air tanks on their backs in some places. The passages were just too tight.
So this wasn't just a static problem, was it? The threat itself was changing all the time.
Yeah.
That seems like a critical insight. They weren't solving one problem, but battling this intensifying system,
Wow.
which kind of pushed them toward these immediate high-risk solutions, right?
Absolutely. Constant rainfall meant water levels changed continuously. Rescuers had to adapt, sometimes hour by hour. The cave's sumps, those parts that are completely underwater, meant the actual rescue route was always shifting, always dynamic. They weren't fighting a fixed environment. They were fighting something that was actively fighting back, constantly evolving.
So the immediate challenge fell to Thai agencies, the Navy SEALs. But given everything you've just described about the cave, even these elite units must have faced unprecedented challenges. At what point did the Thai command realize, okay, we need help? How crucial was that decision to bring in international support?
You're spot on. The initial response was, Thai agencies, park rangers, local police, volunteer rescue groups. Thailand's elite Navy SEALs were right at the forefront of the underwater search. But the combination of zero visibility, those really strong currents, and the sheer complexity of cave diving, it was just beyond their normal operations. They did manage to set up a forward command post at Chamber 3, but getting deeper proved incredibly difficult. The strategic decision to ask for international help came when it became clear this wasn't a typical rescue. And that act of, well, humility and foresight by the Thai command, it was absolutely crucial. Everything hinged on that.
And what an incredible response that got. This intelligent teaming, as people called it. How did that actually come together? Who got involved?
The world really did answer the call. It was amazing to see this intelligent teaming unfold. Specialists from all over the globe converged on Tham Luang. The UK sent world-class cave divers, Richard Stanton, John Valanthan. Their specific expertise was key to even finding the boys initially.
Right, the guys who found them.
Exactly. Then the U.S., USINS Indo-PACOM, that's the U.S. Indo-Pacific Command, they sent a 32-member search and rescue team. They were vital for strategic planning, logistics, rescue techniques. Australia sent expert police divers, and critically, Dr. Richard Harry Harris, an anesthetist and an expert cave diver. That combination, that unique skill set, would turn out to be absolutely pivotal.
Wow.
But it went even beyond that. China sent cave rescue experts, underwater robots. Japan helped with irrigation, water management expertise. Laos, Myanmar, Belgium, France, Israel. They all sent divers, technical experts, specialized gear, and you had the Thai private sector too. Companies like SCG, Chevron providing pumps, pipes, technical support. Really vital stuff. And you just cannot forget the tens of thousands of Thai volunteers, engineers managing water diversion, local farmers sacrificing their fields to channel water away, cooks feeding thousands of people on site, countless others providing just indispensable logistical and honestly emotional support. This wasn't just a general outpouring. It was a really targeted mobilization of specific essential skills, everyone pulling together.
That scale is just staggering. And it all built up to that incredible breakthrough moment on July 2nd, 2018. Can you take us back to that discovery, that iconic exchange?
Yeah, that was the moment the world had been waiting for. After 9 grueling days, 5 hours, 41 minutes of searching, British divers John Valanthan and Richard Stanton surfaced onto this muddy ledge inside the cave called Nern Nam Sao. It's about 400 meters past where they thought the boys might be, this area called Pattaya Beach. And the video footage, it just went everywhere. Iconic is the right word, that simple, calm exchange. How many of you?
13.
13. Excellent. It just perfectly captured the divers' professionalism and confirmed everyone was alive, miraculously.
And that question from the boys, what day is it? In English, too.
Yeah, that became this global symbol of, hope, resilience, just incredible composure from those kids. The world had been bracing for the worst news, and suddenly there was this collective exhale of relief. Governor Narongsak Osatanakorn officially confirmed the good news around 10:30 that night.
Knowing they were alive was one thing, a huge thing, but how did they manage to survive for 9 days? Inside that dark, isolated cave, limited resources, what role did Coach Eek play in keeping them going?
Coach Ick's role was absolutely vital. Can't overstate it. He taught the boys meditation techniques to calm them down, conserve energy, and crucially, manage their limited oxygen supply. He also guided them to drink the clean water dripping from stalactites, to stay hydrated. That leadership, focusing on mental strength, resourcefulness, key figures like Altim Collecta, Dr. Pakluharjan praised it as crucial for their survival, for keeping morale up. It's just a powerful lesson in inner strength under extreme pressure.
And speaking of Latin Cole, Dr. Pakluharjan, he's another one of those unsung heroes in this story, isn't he?
He absolutely is. A military doctor, also a graduate of the Navy SEALs program, Dr. Pak, along with 3 other Thai SEALs, volunteered to stay with the 13 of them inside the cave for over a week between when they were found and when the rescue actually started.
Wow, just stayed there.
Stayed there. His role went way beyond just medical care. He was offering encouragement, comfort. He became this crucial human link, bridging that isolated group to the massive operation happening outside, from discovery right up until rescue. That kind of selfless commitment is just remarkable.
So, okay, the elation of finding them alive,
Mm-hmm.
it must have quickly turned into this terrifying realization. The mission wasn't search anymore. It was now this incredibly complex, incredibly dangerous rescue. They faced those 3 really dire options: waiting out the monsoon, drilling from the mountain, or diving them out. How did the command center, Governor Narongsak, even begin to approach that agonizing decision? Was it about picking the best option or something else?
Yeah, it definitely wasn't about picking the best option. There was no good option. It was about picking the least bad of 3 pretty terrible choices. The command center under Governor Narongsak faced these awful scenarios. First, just wait. Wait for the monsoon to end, supply them inside for months. But that was rejected. Too many risks. Sudden floods, infection, the psychological toll on the kids, just too high. Second, drilling. Drill a shaft down from the mountaintop. A massive engineering challenge. The terrain was incredibly difficult to access, cave maps weren't accurate, and there was a huge risk of triggering rock falls.
Very dangerous.
Very. The third option, dive them out. Fastest, but also the most dangerous. Some kids couldn't swim. Experts were predicting, a high chance of fatalities. Initially, they kind of pursued everything at once, pumping water, looking for other shafts, while prepping for the dive as a last resort. But ultimately, The deteriorating conditions inside the cave forced their hand. The decision to dive was made because they were running out of time.
What were the specific accelerators then? What pushed them definitively towards this incredibly high-stakes dive option despite all those risks?
Two key things really accelerated that decision. First, the oxygen levels inside the cave. They dropped to a dangerous 15%. That's getting critical.
Okay.
And second, tragically, the death of one of the rescuers, Petty Officer First Class Sam Nguyen. These events just underline that doing nothing, waiting, had become far riskier than taking action, even a very risky action. It really demonstrated a crucial crisis management lesson. Sometimes the best plan is the one forced on you by circumstances. Rapid adaptation beats rigid planning.
And this brings us to, it sounds like a truly unprecedented medical plan. You mentioned the fatal flaw in diving was the risk of panic underwater. Total disaster if that happened. So how did they solve that? And what was Dr. Richard Harris's pivotal role?
Dr. Harris, with his unique dual expertise anesthetist and expert cave diver, became absolutely central here. His plan was audacious, really. It involved administering a cocktail of sedatives, including ketamine. To keep the children semi-conscious, essentially unresponsive but breathing, they'd wear full-face oxygen masks, and then divers would transport them through the underwater passages, like incredibly fragile packages.
Wow. The risks involved in that. I mean, sedating children outside a hospital, then taking them underwater. This sounds medically and legally unprecedented. How did they even navigate that? The potential fallout if something went wrong.
That's a critical point. The risks were immense. Masks could dislodge, children could drown. It was terrifyingly high stakes. Recognizing this, the Thai government made a really decisive and quite extraordinary move. They granted diplomatic immunity to Dr. Harris and the Australian medical team involved.
Really? Immunity?
Yes. It protected them from prosecution if the plan failed catastrophically. It highlights how sometimes these technical solutions in extreme crises need political and legal frameworks, these sort of keyholes, to even be attempted. It was a huge decision.
Now, it's interesting. There was a bit of an information disparity, wasn't there? Rescuers, other sources confirmed sedative use, but official Thai statements initially denied it, saying the kids were conscious. How do we square that?
Yeah, that's a pretty classic example of public communication strategy in a crisis. It was likely designed to control information, prevent widespread panic, especially given it involved children. The operational reality, driven by medical necessity and the extreme danger, was different. It just shows the delicate balance leaders have to strike between transparency and managing public perception, especially when things are so volatile.
We also have to acknowledge the ultimate sacrifice made during this mission. Can you tell us about Petty Officer First Class Sam Nguyen?
Petty Officer First Class Sam Nguyen, known as Jai Sam. He was 38, a former Thai Navy SEAL who'd volunteered specifically for this mission. On July 6th, he was working underwater, placing air tanks along the route to support the main dive teams. He lost consciousness underwater tragically and could not be revived.
Such a heartbreaking loss. But it sounds like his death, while devastating, also profoundly galvanized the international rescue team.
It absolutely did. Seaman's death brought the life-threatening danger of that cave environment into sharp, brutal focus for everyone. It elevated the mission. It became almost a sacred duty for many involved to ensure his sacrifice wasn't in vain. The collective resolve, the determination, it just intensified even further after that tragedy.
Which brings us to D-Day, July 8th. There's this brief window. Better weather, water levels somewhat managed. Governor Norensak gives the green light. The extraction begins. This was described as a masterpiece of coordination. Over 90 divers just on day one. 13 international experts, Thai SEALs, support teams. How did this 3-day operation actually play out?
Right. The extraction was meticulously planned over 3 days. Day 1, July 8th. They successfully brought out the first 4 children. The whole process was actually faster than many expected. Took about 7 to 9 hours per child from where they were located deep inside all the way to the cave mouth.
That's still a long time underwater.
An incredibly long time, yeah. Day 2, July 9th, another 4 children were rescued. Same process. And then day 3, July 10th. The final 4 children and Coach Eek were brought safely out. Dr. Pak and the 3 other SEALs who'd stayed with them, they were the very last ones to emerge. That concluded the mission. 17 days, 4 hours, and 29 minutes after they first went missing. An incredible timeline.
And the efficiency right there at the cave mouth. I read descriptions comparing the medical setup to a Formula One pit crew. Can you sort of paint a picture of that?
Yeah, that's a really good analogy. It was incredibly well designed and efficient. Organized chaos, but highly organized. As each child emerged, they were immediately taken to a field hospital set up right there. Quick assessment, stabilization. Then straight onto helicopters and airlifted to the main hospital in Chiang Rai. Every single step was rapid, systematic. Everyone knew their role precisely. It was a remarkable display of synchronized teamwork, logistics, and rapid response medicine.
Looking back now, the Tham Luang rescue in 2018, it's often compared to the Chilean mining rescue back in 2010. Both of these incredible 21st century survival stories. But what were the key differences? And maybe more importantly, what lessons did the Tham Luang team learn, or perhaps consciously apply, from that Chilean experience?
That's a really important comparison to draw, yeah. Helps put it in context. There are key differences. Victims. Tom Luang had young, vulnerable children. Chile had adult, experienced miners. Duration. Chile was much longer, 69 days trapped, versus 18 days for the wild boars inside the cave.
Huge difference.
Massive. The main threat itself was different, too. Tham Luang had those dynamic, rising floodwaters, low oxygen, the complex horizontal cave system. Chile had a stable, collapsed mine, but the challenge was the immense depth, and the rescue methods were fundamentally different because of that. Tham Luang needed that horizontal transport underwater with sedated victims, incredibly complex and risky. Chile used vertical drilling in that specially designed capsule to winch the miners out one by one.
Right, the capsule.
Exactly. But here's where a crucial lesson, a connection emerges. Post-rescue care. The Chilean miners, sadly, face significant long-term mental health struggles, exploitation by media, financial problems. Those painful lessons from Chile were very consciously applied in Thailand. There was a deliberate effort to prioritize psychological support for the boys and Coach Eek, and shield them heavily from intense media intrusion. The goal was to ensure a much smoother, healthier reintegration into their lives. That proactive psychological care was a direct takeaway.
It's clear this entire event, Tham Luang, has become this global crisis management case study. Even business schools like Wharton analyze it. Beyond the specific tactics, the diving, the pumping, what are the broader lessons from the labyrinth that have emerged?
There are several really profound takeaways, yeah. Things that apply far beyond cave rescues. First, adaptive leadership. Governor Narongsek's success wasn't just about giving orders. It was clear communication, managing chaos effectively, and crucially, empowering the technical experts to make the critical calls. Trusting the specialists. That showed flexibility and trust are paramount. Second, intelligent teaming. This was just a textbook example. Forming a highly effective temporary team, blending incredibly diverse skills, different cultures, different organizations, all focused on one single clear goal. They really lived that motto, we are one team.
Yeah.
Third, unity against a common enemy. The mission just transcended everything, politics, race, religion. It became this purely humanitarian effort that genuinely captivated the world. A rare story of unity when the world often feels so divided. Fourth, science, technology, and specialization. It was a triumph for so many fields: hydrology, geology, medicine, engineering. And it really highlighted the value of those rare, highly specialized skills, like technical cave diving, skills you don't need often, but when you do, they're indispensable. And finally, fifth, community and volunteer power. You just can't discount the immense support from the local Thai communities and volunteers. From diverting water to cooking meals for thousands, it was absolutely essential. The backbone of the ground operation, really. You know, the Tham Luang rescue, it really echoes as more than just news. It's an enduring legend now, a modern epic. It has all the elements, doesn't it? Innocent victims, a terrifying natural adversary, an international team of heroes, that heartbreaking sacrifice, and then ultimately a triumphant, hopeful ending. It feels like something out of Hollywood, but it was real.
The rescue of the 13 wild boars was, without a doubt, a mission possible. It really stands as this powerful and refreshingly apolitical narrative of global unity. It proved that when we're faced with challenges that seem completely insurmountable, a combination of human courage, scientific brilliance, and just selfless cooperation can achieve the truly incredible. The Chilean legacy of Tham Luang is a powerful reminder, isn't it? A reminder of our potential for collaboration, the enduring nature of hope. It leaves you wondering, what other global challenges could we overcome if we truly embrace that spirit of intelligent teaming and unity we saw in this remarkable deep dive?